Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Welcome to Right and Wrong.
Come on,
This is
man.
the show where we try
What
to
are we
wake
talking
up the
about?
woke
Right.
by talking common sense about the issues of the day. And it's also where we cut the theme when the host starts talking, my man.
You don't want to run that back?
Nope. I'm your
All right.
host, Brian Ruka. My man right here is the Juice Manzada, producer Juice. He's known everywhere from here to the Valley of the Crescent Moon for one thing and one thing only. That's speaking the truth and playing the tracks for us.
At the
I mean,
appropriate
truth.
times.
Absolutely. What's going on, brother? How you holding up tonight?
I'm holding up. I'm ready to go. Happy to. Is this 2 weeks in a row if we knock this out or no?
I think so. Or like maybe like
We're getting
10
closer.
days.
Getting closer.
Yeah, it might be like a 2-week cycle this time instead of a 1 month.
Yeah, and we'll knock one out by this time next week, right?
I love that. Absolutely. And I will have to mention before we get going here, it was great to see you up here last week. My man came up for a visit. We were able to at this is 40, I guess, people. 10 years ago, we would have been doing something a lot different, but we started our night by going to adoration with our man Deacon Bill at the St. Martin de Porres Parish. It's a great night. Great time. Getting to spend a little time with the Lord and then have a little bite to eat. So it was a nice little Thursday. I hit Home Depot the next day, Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, we had enough time.
But that was fun, right, buddy?
Yeah, loved it. It was a great night and to see Joe T. Shout out to Joey.
Absolutely. Even though he said he never tunes into our podcast.
Yeah. So take
Take
it
that
back.
shout out. Bro.
Yeah. I'll just text him on the side saying it was nice to see you.
Absolutely.
All right. Go
All
get it.
right. Oftentimes when discussing politics, people have the tendency to use terms and words that they don't understand. Or better said, the people using them are using them incorrectly. Think of the way people use the words racist, Nazi, or genocide in lieu of a thing I just don't like. How about gender affirming care when, in fact, they're talking about using drugs and surgeries to do anything but affirm the person's God given gender? What about free universal health care instead of the more appropriate taxpayer funded health care? I think you guys get the point. Now, the word I'd like to focus on today is scandal, as in the fact that Joe Biden has stage 4 prostate cancer is one of the biggest scandals in American history. I'm actually somewhat bothered by how the general public seems to be taking this news. Maybe it's just me, but it kind of feels like the mainstream coverage of this boils down to Joe Biden has cancer. In other news, Trump deports multiple rapists and murderers, robbing the victims' families of having justice in an American courtroom. It's the scandal of the century. So what does the word scandal actually mean? A quick Google search brought up a plethora of options, so I figured I might as well just share what the legal definition of the word is, which is scandal refers to disgraceful, shameful, or degrading acts or conduct that brings about disgrace and offends the moral sensibilities of society. Now, I'll admit the fact that an 82-year-old man having prostate cancer is not earth-shattering news, but it's the cherry on top of the disaster that was the Biden presidency. The Joe Biden track record should be synonymous with the word scandal, and that dates back to the 80s when this jackass had to abandon his presidential run because he was caught plagiarizing. Disgraceful. How about that time Joe Biden led a modern-day lynching when he tried defaming Clarence Thomas in an effort to block his appointment to the Supreme Court? Shameful. You want some degrading acts or conduct that brings about disgrace? I urge you all to look up videos of the leader of the free world falling off of a bicycle or tripping up the stairs of Air Force One? What about that time he fell down on stage because he walked into a giant sandbag? Or that time he needed the Easter Bunny to help him exit stage left? Better yet, just go back and watch the presidential debate that ended his re-election bid. Disgrace is not a strong enough word for that embarrassment. It's safe to say that Joe Biden's entire political career has an aura of scandal surrounding it. Don't forget that I didn't even mention his wealth accumulation on a public servant's salary, or his blackmailing of Ukrainian officials, or his storage of classified documents in his garage, or his crackhead son. I mean, come on, Jack. He's just an old guy that likes ice cream. Joe Biden is a sleazy politician and always has been, and he will remain a sleazy politician until the day he dies. It's just who he is. The real scandal here is from the mainstream media, and that's who I'm most annoyed with today. These people knew this guy was a corrupt, senile scumbag from basically the moment he stepped into the White House, and they covered it up. Partly because of their hatred for Donald Trump, but mostly for their lust for power and control. Long ago, the media traded in their pursuit for the truth in exchange for it just a seat at the table. It's the same mindset that leads to my frustration with local sports reporters these days. The guys that are supposed to ask tough and awkward questions would rather keep a friendly rapport with the players and manager than speak truth to power, if you will. We all witnessed firsthand as Joe Biden physically and mentally melted down right in front of our eyes. And if we pointed it out, we were shouted down as crazy MAGA extremists. Not only that, but we were told this about the man that was a vegetable in the Oval Office. Juice?
Your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
He's sharp, he's focused, he's bright.
I don't have any concerns, and that's from personal interactions.
This version of Biden is the best Biden ever. Not a close second.
Alert, sound.
I mean, the Republicans are like good at distractions.
I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And if the Democrats were honest, they'd admit President Biden's mental capacity is declining. 6 in 10 Americans don't have confidence in Joe Biden's mental capacity.
Then you have the liberal media told bad things about me and members of the oversight committee because we have the audacity to investigate.
Giving us their drive-by diagnoses of the President of the United States.
Congressman, what you are suggesting is that I omit portions of my reasoning and explanation to the Attorney General for political reasons.
Democrats get into a frenzy.
Do you think people close to President Biden are being honest about his mental state?
And these slip-ups kind of happen.
I mean, there should be no concern.
So I don't really care if he was off for 90 minutes and didn't put on like people wanted him to put on.
I saw no more in his declination than I've seen in anybody else.
Sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
This is a very sharp president.
Incredibly sharp, incredibly probing.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
The president has no impairment.
Nobody's buying that. No. Nobody's buying what he's telling.
And the pipeline of videos that aren't telling the full truth.
All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
The same right-wing influences that are trying to take me down are trying to take down President Biden.
Now, Juice, that's the equivalent of these aren't the droids you're looking for. Are you kidding me? Sharp is the last word I'd use to describe Joe Biden. The Joe Scarborough one gets me every single time. This is the sharpest version of Biden. In the words of Joe Biden, that's just malarkey.
Dude,
this
and then
man,
Claiborne, whatever, him, he's telling people that Biden's sharp, the black man there.
No good.
And then KJP, dude, forgot about her.
Brutal.
Sorry, continue. I said there's a couple, that was so insulting to watch.
Horrible.
All right, sorry, go.
Crazy. Now, this man was never sharp, and he certainly wasn't the sharpest he's ever been over the course of the last 3 to 4 years. if you're one of the 15 people that still tune in to CNN and MSNBC at this point, what else do you need to see to realize the news is telling you what they want you to hear in order to try and convince you to vote Democrat? This is the part where it escalates to offending the moral sensibilities of society. The media and the Democrat political machine have been actively working side by side for decades at this point. Over the last 5 years, they've told us not to wear masks, then told us we have to wear masks. They told us that we couldn't have cookouts in our backyards. But then they also told us that we should gather by the thousands to protest racial injustice. They told us that riots were mostly peaceful protests. They told us that an actual mostly peaceful protest was the darkest day in American history. They told us that the COVID vax would prevent transmission. Then they told us that the vax will just make your symptoms less severe, as long as you continue to take the boosters. What are we on, like shot number 62 at this point? They told us that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation, until they finally admitted that that was all BS 3 years later, when at that point it didn't really matter anymore. And they shouted down and ridiculed anyone that wondered who was really running the country, because it was obvious that Joe Biden wasn't doing it. Joe Biden told us all that he had cancer back in July of 2022, and the media covered it up by once again trying to convince us all that we didn't just hear what we just heard. Listen to this one and tell me if Joe Biden magically developed stage 4 prostate cancer. Juice?
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't, for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Now, I guess we can all be guilty of not harping on that more at the time, but this is where Joe Biden's stupidity worked to his advantage. This is why Biden is the perfect stooge president. The guy flubbed and admitted to having cancer, and the whole world just shrugged and said, there goes Joe again, rambling like a moron, doing the old cancer bit. And once again, the few people that tried to ask questions about it, they were labeled conspiracy theorists. At this point, if the Democrat Party and the media ever hope to regain credibility, they'll need to fire the staffers that orchestrated this scandal, vote out the politicians that masterminded this scandal, and replace the news anchors that sold this scandal. I, for one, am not holding my breath waiting for that to happen. And with that being said, I do believe it's time to welcome in our good friend, Mr. Ric Flair, because it is showtime, baby. Woo!
Showtime! Woo! Woo!
Yeah. There it is. Woo! Juice,
Yes.
your thoughts, brother. What were you saying there?
I was trying to
Ray
jump
Barron,
in and
all those
steal.
guys?
I was trying to jump in and steal the monologue there for a second, but I was just saying, like, even the people that they had, like in the last 30 seconds of that clip, the people who were telling us, like, it's such even more of
all
a
the
slap in the
shock.
face. Yeah, you shot like it was KJP, Pelosi, and then that guy, I don't know, I think it said Claiborne, that he couldn't even speak. He's like, don't
Horrible.
worry, trust
Yeah,
me.
the older
Trust
black
me.
guy. Like,
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah,
He's
he's from
okay.
South Carolina.
Yeah, he's good by
Ugh.
me. Like, dude, we're trusting you to in KJP who can't say a line. You know,
It's crazy.
repeat the line.
Yeah.
Do you have
Horrible.
that?
Ugh. Pause. Repeat the line. It was, I mean, it was clear as day. We all know it, dude. There's no way you just have stage 4 prostate cancer out of nowhere one day. When you have access to the best doctors that the world has, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, dude, and elder abuse, like, do I like the man? No. Like, but is it sad that he has cancer? Sure. Was he probably going through cancer stuff and struggling, and they're putting him up there to look like a buffoon when he should be, in a bed, in a hospital bed?
Yep.
All
crazy.
all for power.
Crazy, yeah, because they wanted their seat at the table, and he was happy to just play the role for the camera, get treated like the president, let everybody else really pull the strings behind him. It was a perfect marriage, I guess, if you will. All right, you ready to jump into
Who do you think was pulling the strings?
Dr. Jill and Hunter? I think it was those two getting more and more power as the presidency moved along. Because they could control him too. They wouldn't let people come see the guy.
I know, but I don't know that they care enough. I think they only care about lining their pockets. I don't think they care so much about, public, like, foreign policy and trying to, like, rule the world. But I bet that people are behind that could want to do that, deep state type stuff.
Yeah. I see.
Hey, Hunter and Jill, you can get yours. Yeah, you can. We'll grease you on the side deals and just keep quiet. But we're also going to rule this from the back,
I think Hunter and Jill just like the position of power that they were able to be in.
You could place this episode. You could place this episode like 2 years ago too. Like same. They finally like.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, crazy stuff. Well, the lead thing I really want to jump into, other than that, obviously the Biden cancer news was a big deal that dropped early in the week. And our boy, little Marco Rubio, was in front of the Senate this week for a hearing. And, I guess to show where this guy has come, why don't we go back and see where it all began back in 2016 when Trump did give him that name. I think, Juice, we were able to pull up that clip, right?
Let's see a question for you, sir.
Let's see if he answers it.
I will. Don't worry about it, Marco. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, little Marco. I will.
All right, well, let's hear Big Don. Donald.
Don't worry about it, don't worry about it, little Marco.
Gentlemen.
That is great, isn't
he? Yeah, I told you.
Man.
I told you.
Told you, bro. So true. But he killed it right there. But in that clip, that little Marco line, it killed the man's presidential bid. It really did.
He was like, yeah, Big Don, Doc, Don.
Yeah.
But
that's a great comeback.
But he's
Oh, no, I'm not. You are. Now these guys, if we fast forward here to 2025, they've kissed and made up. And in fact, I guess Trump has made little Marco his Secretary of State. Marco is also a national security advisor, as well as the acting head of both the National Archives and Records Administration and the soon to be closed USAD. So needless to say, little Marco has a big job on his plate these days, Juice. He's wearing many hats in the Trump administration.
Chief chef, because he's cooking them out there.
Yes, he is.
Them.
Yes, he is. Now, in this hearing, we got a few clips we're going to show you guys, but I just wanted to see just how far this man has come from 10 years ago, where I feel like he kind of froze up a little bit there. Didn't really have a good comeback for him. Oh, okay, Big Don, right? Like, if anything, that's a compliment. He's like, yeah, what's up? Like
strapping older man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like so Marco has come from I'm rubber, you're glue. Anything you say bounces off of me, sticks to you. And he's actually got some good lines these days. So let's start with his interaction with Connecticut Senator Chris Van Hollen, where Marco kind of nailed him about his bromance with the now deported gangbanger Maryland father Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Juice?
Absolutely. We deported gang members. gang members, including the one you had a margarita with. And that guy is a human trafficker, and that guy is a gangbanger, and the evidence is going to be clear. In the days to come, you're going to see who you went to defend.
Senator, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated comments like that.
Secretary Rubio has the floor. You've had
Secretary
your time.
Rubio should take that testimony to the federal court in the United States because he hasn't done it under oath.
Here's another point, okay? There is a division in our government between the federal branch and the judicial branch. No judge in the judicial branch cannot tell me or the president how to conduct foreign policy.
Yes.
What he lacks for in stature, he makes up for in, I don't know, words. But
Yes.
like the confidence like that he just has, not like it seems like a different person.
100%.
Don probably was like, dude, I was just messing, like pumped him up. You know what I mean? Though, like that confidence and charisma, dude, could just flow off of Donnie, and he just feeds off of that.
It's flowing through the whole
that
administration.
didn't seem like the same guy. He's like, you had a margarita with him, like that's Trump would say.
Yes, it is. Yes,
he might
it is.
Be
And
like,
about...
hey, good luck out there at the hearing, but dude, there's a good line here with the margarita.
Yeah. Use the go with the margarita bit.
Tell him Don told you, though. Tell him Big Don tell you.
How about the dude's comeback to that too? He was baffled. He can't say that. He can't
unsubstantiated
claims. It was a Bloody Mary, not a margarita.
The chairman was on point. He must have been on our side, chairman, right?
Oh, I think so. I don't know who that was, but
he was running a tight ship, though, right?
He was running a tight ship.
And then you'll see him drop. I don't know if it's the same thing. You see him drop a bomb on somebody later.
Yeah, he definitely had Marco's back.
Yeah, let's go to the
all right. So next on the list here from Marco Rubio, he moved on to former Hillary Clinton running mate and now understudy for the Wizard of Oz, Tim Kaine. Now, Kaine, along with the rest of the Democrats, are upset because Trump is welcoming in white South African migrants who are fleeing racial persecution coming here to America. So, Juice, let's hear from the almost vice president.
This dude killed it.
So,
Marco kills this guy. I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, Tim Kaine's a nitwit. Yeah.
So, a well-justified fear of persecution.
Yeah, they thought that their farms were being burned down and they would be killed. I think that's a pretty good justification for wanting to come. They're afraid for their lives.
And should it be applied in an even-handed way? That's an easy.
No, our foreign policy doesn't require even-handedness. It requires prioritizing the interests of the United States.
The phrase says you are entitled to entrance as a refugee if you demonstrate a well-justified fear of persecution.
No, you're not entitled.
So can you have a different standard based upon the color of somebody's skin? Would that be acceptable?
Well, I'm not the one arguing that. Apparently you are, because you don't like the fact that they're white, and that's why they're coming.
I'm just asking you to say that would be unacceptable.
Well, no, I would say that the United States,
a very easy thing
the United States has a right to pick and choose who they allow into the United States.
Even based on the color of somebody's skin.
No one's. You're the one that's talking about the color of their skin, not me. These are people whose farms were being burned down and they were killed because of the color of their skin. Well, you've demonstrated enough because you think anyone should be allowed into this country for any reason because they met a certain criteria.
Who has said that?
We are going to prioritize people that come into our country on the basis of what's in the interest of this country. That's a small number of people that are coming.
But you said this weekend that there would be more.
But in other cases, it's harder to vet. In other cases, it's more difficult. And by the way, the United States admits people every year.
A+ again, right?
Yeah, you're saying that, right?
Yeah. Like, we're just letting refugees into the country here who their houses are being burned down. I don't care what color they are. You seem to be.
Yeah.
It was great. And I didn't hear Tim Kaine crying or complaining when a bunch of white Ukrainians have been allowed into the country as migrants as well. It's all just a political thing. That's what it is. They're playing politics. And I can't stand when politicians try that bit that he was doing too with, oh, that's an easy one to say. Should be an easy one for all of us. Like, you ask a loaded question in a way that, like, you're trying to do a gotcha to them. Oh, like, shouldn't anybody, like, whatever? Yes. You should be able to say yes. And Rubio just stayed calm.
The vet thing is good. Like, hey, if you're trying to have anybody come from anywhere and just say, hey, it's tough economically in my country, like, you can't automatically get in. But these dudes are actively get in an active situation. kind
Exactly.
of more black and white. Oh,
there's a difference
not good
between
for the
political migrant, like who's escaping, fleeing persecution, political persecution, persecution based on the color of your skin, a war, persecution from being in a war, versus economic, like reasoning. Like just because your country's poor and you're trying to get access to a better opportunity here in America.
When it's poor, it's also not necessarily safe, but it's not a direct event. Like, hey, they're persecuting people from this exact spot for this reason.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, you should want to seek asylum if you live in this scary part of Mexico or something, where it's all gangbangers and what are they called? The cartels. But it's not like as easy cut and dry as they're burning these farmers in this part of whatever South Africa or something.
Well, because it changes what we're actually arguing about. What then we have to have the conversation about what is asylum. Is it like kind of like what you described? Yeah, that is a way of asylum, but like, is that how it's intended? No, it's intended for like people going in to kill you because you're Jewish in Nazi Germany. People going to kill you because whatever you happen to be. That's what
Catholic in America.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So it's out of control, and the Democrats are always race baiting. And at the end of the day, so how about this one here? Rubio closed things out with this mic drop of a moment in his response to another line of questioning that happened to be with Van Hollen. So, Juice, you want to give us that one?
And I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
May I respond?
You may sit.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job based on what I know.
Well, that's just a flippant statement, Mr. Secretary.
Can I respond, Mr. Chairman?
You may.
I didn't ask.
Senator, please let the Secretary have
I'd be happy to, but then I can respond to his.
Your time's up, Senator, and woefully used, I might add.
Oh, that's the
yeah. And woefully you like he doesn't have to say that either, right? They're all throwing jabs in there, and he's like, "Well, yeah, your time's phenomenal. Up and woefully used, if I might add."
Yep, that's Trump-esque right there.
Somebody should have popped in with a point of personal privilege. That might have got like right. Can't you automatically get? We don't know how many you get a year though. Remember?
That's true. You got to use those sparingly.
Yeah, it's like timeouts in a football game or challenges.
Yeah. You get an extra one if you gained correct in your point of personal privilege.
Yeah, what was Rubio's main thing there? He said
it was phenomenal.
What did he say again?
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank now, Juice. Yeah. You got me going with the privilege. I wear it with a badge of honor.
Oh, he's like I would wish I didn't vote for you. Yeah. He's like, well, judging by your record, that means I'm doing something good. Like,
yeah,
because you can see what they vote yay or nay on, right?
Well, and it's funny because he was like the easiest confirmation. I think he got 99 votes out of 100. Like was it all 99? Because he was a senator too. So I don't even remember at the time if he was
facts and stats.
We're not a facts and stats crew. I know he got 99 votes though.
And we're recording this late.
Yes, we are late in the evening. Late in the night, but yeah, it was a great moment. And I guess what I heard after the fact too is this thing spilled over, Juice, not only in the hearing there, but actually it continued when they left. They went out into the hallway, and we happened to catch this bit that Marco did as well when he interacted with some of his colleagues on the Democrat side of the aisle.
Yep.
No more shines, Billy.
What?
I said no more shines. Maybe you didn't hear about it. You've been away a long time. They didn't go up there and tell you. I don't shine shoes anymore.
Relax.
They're in, Juice.
Hey, he goes, they don't go up there and tell you.
They don't. They don't go up there and tell you up there on the hill. I don't shine shoes no more, pals. They ain't little Marco anymore. Oh, it's great. As you all know, that's the best movie of all time right there. But one of my favorite lines from that movie as well. What's he saying? The guy just got out of jail, right, Juice?
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying, the news doesn't travel up there.
Yeah, you've been there a long time, right? He's like, oh, they didn't tell you that up there. But he is like running the town, though, right?
Who, Pesci?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big. He's big at that point. That's the guy they stick in the trunk. Spoiler alert. But
Oh, with the hoof.
Yeah, the hoof, all of that stuff. Oh, great part. Good stuff. So good job, Marco Rubio. I think the guy's killing
hold on.
it.
He's
truly a great job.
Truly great job. Absolutely. So good stuff. All right, Juice, you wanna keep this thing moving? Keep it going?
What's that from?
I don't know. It's trying to kind of sound like Austin Powers a little bit.
Yeah, I want to go see a movie. What was that from, though?
Oh no, you know when he does do it actually when he just takes the penis enlarger Swedish pump. Oh, just sign to keep things moving.
Yeah.
Right? There's no line, nobody behind him.
Swedish penis enlarger. Actually, that is my bag, baby. Signed by Austin Powers. Like the book.
Book written. It's not mine, I swear. All right, good. So there's one of the references for us.
Yeah,
right?
good. We just got
It's
one
in.
more.
We got one this week. All right, Juice. So COVID vaccinations, they came up in the monologue. This story here really caught my attention, and it was a headline grab. The headline sucked me in on the Daily Wire's website, and it read this: FDA will no longer approve annual COVID vaccine for younger, healthy patients. And that was the headline. Like I said, it caught my attention because it seems like something that we all realized at least 3-4 years ago at this point. But to see that the FDA is finally jumping on board with it, was pretty encouraging for me. Now, the story opens up with this to say, quote, a new policy rolled out on Tuesday will limit recommendations for annual COVID-19 booster shot to the elderly and to children and younger adults who have at least one health condition that puts them at greater risk for developing severe disease.
Hey, why are we doing this at all for anyone? Do people still do it?
I don't know. I mean, I've always kind of been like I took the first one, the very first round of them. I wish I didn't. But I've kind of always been like, all right, well, if you're 60 something years old and you got a lung disease, you got diabetes, you got something, like, sure, any cold that you get, anything is going to be a risk to your life. So if they have like something that could potentially make it less severe, help with the symptoms, something like that, I'm okay with.
I know, but it's like ever been proven that this isn't more damaging than good? Like, I haven't seen that data.
Good point. Yeah,
because like
it was all experimental.
Like if you say like, because remember they would say like, no, I don't know.
It was approved on an experimental basis, so that was how it's been operated.
Buried the files for 75 years.
Well, and this isn't the same story, but another thing broke like 2 days after this one that I saw, that the Biden administration is under question for possibly hiding some statistics about myocarditis, the heart inflammation stuff in young, more so young healthy males. They knew about it, say, in February, I believe it was, and they held off on releasing any information about it until June, July, because they didn't want vaccine hesitancy. Like that, again, is scandalous. That is a big deal.
You're going to have vaccine hesitancy for just regular stuff now because you did
seriously.
Like, because you weren't telling the truth. Things kind of backfired. You just weren't forthcoming, like with the, it's 100%, it's 60, it's 50, whatever. Just any types of lies. That's what's going to lead to hesitancy.
Mm-hmm.
That we don't trust what you're pumping out. Now people are like, oh shit, what about all those other ones that we've been taking?
Exactly. And it snowballs into everything.
I don't really get flu shots, but I definitely wouldn't now.
Like, I don't get flu shots anymore.
Yeah, I don't do that anyways, but you know what I mean?
Like, I'm good. Yeah.
Get the flu.
I'm with you, man. But that snowballs into everything. That's part of the theme from the monologue this week is like they've lost all of their credibility because of all these different things added together. Telling us that man was sharp, normal, good president, telling us that this is a safe vaccine that we need to be taking, telling us, that America sucks, like that we're a racist country that doesn't deserve to be where we are.
Actually, no.
Every instant they have, everything. Thank you, doctor. Everything that it seems like they've told us for the last 5, 6, 7 years has been wrong, or has been slanted wrong, has been a sliver of truth wrapped in propaganda designed to make us do something they want us to do, or for them to control
Men are women, women are men.
Yeah, all of it. So it just it chips away at their credibility.
Shout out to the Pope for saying men and women are you know what I mean? This is the basis for everything. This is what marriage is, and the basis for family. You know what I
but
mean?
do you see the way that the mainstream news covers that?
What they say.
Like, breaking news, Pope declares da da da, like
it should have already been.
I'm exaggerating the point, but it's like, stop the press, the Pope declares marriage between a man and a woman. Like,
yeah, I know. Like, where we can't just, like, it has to even be a snippet on the news.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you've fallen.
Oh, this just in, Pope defends 2,000-year-old doctrine. Nothing to see here. It's wild. So that's another.
Yeah, it's crazy that we have to give accolades for that. I agree.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at.
All right. Back into the story here, Juice. It also says, where was I? Oh, near the end of the story. So it was, a little blurb about what's going on there at the FDA, and it closes by quoting from an article that was written by the FDA Commissioner Marty McCary and Dr. Vinay Prasad. Definitely butchered that part, but
I like it. I like it.
We're cool with that.
Sounds right.
And I guess I could have sold it if I just kept going, right? And the story says, quote, the FDA's new COVID-19 philosophy represents a balance of regulatory flexibility and a commitment to gold standard science. The FDA will approve vaccines for high-risk persons and, at the same time, demand robust gold standard data on persons at low risk. These clinical trials will inform future directions for the FDA, but more important, they will provide information that is desperately craved by healthcare providers and the American people, end quote. So there it is right there. So they'll approve it for the high-risk people, but anybody else, they're going to need to go through a rigorous, level of information gathering, testing, placebo testing, all that type of stuff.
Dude, you know what happens?
It's
just like abortion. They're going to be now doing vaccines in the women's room in the stall. They're going to steal them from the, you know what I mean? These people want to be vaxxed so much. Oh, I can't take that away from us. You know what I mean? They'll have to be doing it in a dark alley. Somebody snuck it out of the hospital. It looks like they're shooting up, but they're just getting vaxes.
What is that how they're going to start this? Juice, tell us they want safe, legal, and rare COVID vaccines.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but what do you? I've already gotten,
Yeah, I mean, it's
like, what do you think of all that, though? Is
I don't know.
Like,
Some trust.
Where's it go from here?
It's too. Got to gain the trust back somehow. I don't know how. Because
do you feel better with the people that are in place now, though? Like,
I haven't really seen any changes. Really, I don't know.
Well, like,
you mean the CDC guy? I mean, this FDA guy?
Yeah, with like the people that Trump's putting in place, like, you.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like,
you got to slowly step it back because, like, because it's like you can't. Then you lose people that way. You lose everybody instead of uniting the two sides. If you're just like, that was a complete, you gotta regain the trust slowly. But I don't know what it's gonna take, man. I think I'm permanently skeptical, right? But I think we should have been all the time. So I think it's almost
that comes naturally for you, right? Like, you're like that's
yeah. But no, I was kind of buying into it at the beginning. I've had one. Like, I'm not boosted or doubled or whatever, but like I fell for it. Like that skit with what's his name from Half Baked.
Brewer.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you want to go to a baseball game?" Just like saying, like, SEALs, trained SEAls. Like, oh, you want to go to work for your family just to put some food on the table?
Yeah,
give you the shot. And he's like,
that's hilarious.
But like,
yeah, neither of us were on Bass level.
I think we should have been.
Yeah,
yeah. Shout out to
that kid was on point right from the jump.
Yeah, because like, but I think like a good thing is like I'm gonna be skeptical of everyone. Skeptical going forward, and we should have been then. We had too much trust in these agencies and things.
Absolutely.
So I don't think you're ever gonna get the people back who, you know, have woken up during this time. But
yeah,
I do. That's a good statement. I mean, it's in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And that line at the end of the thing of the article there definitely stood out to me, where it said the information that is desperately craved by healthcare providers in the American people. Like, obviously, yes, we do, but the desperately craved by healthcare providers. And that part is the part that kind of scares me a little bit too, because it feels like it's such like a go along to get along industry where nobody wanted to be the lone wolf being like, wait a minute about these vaccines. And now nobody wants to be the first to do that. They want the FDA to give them permission to now seek more testing on it, more clinical testing. And they're desperately craving more information.
Dude, if you say,
why weren't you desperately craving more information this whole time? Like,
if you say, I'm kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent, but if you say like, oh, I came up with like this, that's not chemotherapy or radiation cure for cancer. Like, dude, you're getting killed. Like, people have came up with these things like, oh, that kind of worked. You know what I mean? Like, because Big Pharma isn't in the business of trying to make you healthy. They want to just like
patient for life.
Yeah, control the symptoms. Do that instead of like cure you, right?
Yeah.
So like that's also why it's like a go along, get along. If you try to come out with something that actually is a cure or it's homeopathic or something, you know what I mean? I don't know much about it, but you know what I mean? Hey, you could do that with just this the root of this tree over here, farmer.
Yeah.
The big farmer will, worst case
kill
you.
They're in the business of making money. At the end of the day, it costs a lot of money to run these trials of drugs. Like, they're innovators. They do, like, I'm not anti-big pharma because they've given us modern medicine that does work, that is good.
Yeah.
But they also are there to make a buck at the end of the day. So
I'm anti-big sunblock, dude. Sunblock is bad, they say.
Really?
Yeah.
They're always trying to get me to use more sunblock.
Skin cancer's gone up since sunblock goes up.
Oh boy. All right. Big sunblock. Watch out for the big sunblock industry.
Put that in the comments.
All right. I like it.
But I think it's worth doing a little quick dig into. Maybe you wear those shirts instead, or you get one that doesn't have like.
You've been trying to wear water shirts since we were like 12 years old. You're just trying to get everybody on board so you're not the only guy.
Nah, dude. Let's move on.
All right. A couple of weeks ago, my friend, you brought up the fact that Donald Trump's best ability, the reason why he's your favorite president, is his comedic timing, right? Like, that was huge.
It was important. I think it was like he's America first and the best comedic timing.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Trump was announcing his executive order to reduce the cost of prescription drugs. I guess that was a good segue that we just went from. And he ended up doing what he does best, Juice. And that is just be hilarious and tell a hilarious story. So without too much further ado, let's go into Trump's story where he was talking about the prescription drug industry and the cost of these things, more importantly. So, Juice?
Your story, a friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. And he called me up, and he said, President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy, very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88 And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on?
Oh my God.
This is not working.
Unbelievable.
Who's he talking
It's not
about?
working. I don't know. We're going to
Elon?
find out. Put it in the comments.
Elon? Like, I
Who
know
is
he's
it?
Elon.
No, not Elon. He said a big fat guy.
I
He's
know,
talking
but
about a big
Elon,
fat guy.
yeah, I know Elon's not big fat, but he is like super dad bod. You see him like on a yacht, he has like these man boobs. But like
Yeah,
he's not
but
fit.
it can't be. I'm thinking someone big. I'm thinking like a
Yeah, but Chris
like a-
Christie's not his friend.
he's not his friend, but that's who I'm picturing. Someone
Yeah.
like that, or like the dude from Illinois, the governor there, Pritzker. Like somebody big, man. I don't know.
Neurotic, really neurotic businessman.
Yeah. Why does he throw in? He throws in all these little details in every story that he's telling. It's
A
phenomenal.
little respect calls me Mr. President.
Mr. President now. You know, he's a great guy. You'd all know him. Businessman, right?
The fat shot there.
The fat shot. He's definitely talking about Ozempic, right?
Yeah, Wegovy, whatever, GLP-1. I think, you know.
Oh,
different. Right?
incredible. But
You heard that comes as a synthetic version of the venom of a Gila monster. Like a Gila monster is a lizard, right?
Okay.
And like so the venom is like poisonous, but either way, like GLP-1, like the active ingredient that supposedly is a synthetic version of Gila monster venom. Put that in the comments with the big sunblock. What is this?
I like this guy.
Conspiracy Corner week.
Juice is that's gonna be another segment, dude.
Yeah.
We'll turn down your light a little bit as it comes in.
Mhm.
Focus in on Juice, like get the thing. Oh, I just darkened myself up there. But yeah, we'll really zoom in on you. Conspiracy Corner.
Put that in there.
I like it. Yeah, so that's just a great clip. We couldn't pass that one up. Trump was awesome there. Hilarious. I listen to the guy tell a story all day.
The most powerful guy and the funniest. Like, I don't follow comedians that much, but there's not much funnier than him out there.
The only guy that no, there isn't anybody.
And he does a show every day. Doesn't take a
He does every day. He's got to be on 24/7. Yeah, great point. All right, Juice. Before we bring this thing home, we're in good shape today, doing good with the timing. So let's remind everybody to subscribe to the show, right, on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Put them up on Rumble from time to time still. So please give us a like, give us a share. We did get a comment on the monologue from last week from some random like cat lady, I think, talking about how she likes Stevie Nicks, and Stevie Nicks is a good woman. Who are we to call it murder? There's a good little comment. It was
I
didn't quite make sense. A little rambly. Go look it up. Yeah, we actually got a comment.
Did you comment back?
Nah, not yet. No, wait.
You got to keep that engagement going.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see. But I got a little chuckle from that. All right. This is how we usually wrap up every show. Not usually. It is how we wrap up every show with the always fun, always popular "Come on, man" segment of the day. This is where we find a clip of somebody doing something, saying something that's so absurd, so ridiculous that even though we're going to make fun of them here for a couple of minutes, there's not much else we could say to them except, "Oh, man." That is the former president, the stage 4 prostate cancer man himself. And what?
No, I don't know. I mean, it's like I'm not a fan of him, but it's sad. But you're like,
it is.
There's the cancer man. There's the cancer man himself.
Dude, it is. It is what it is. I don't want to disparage the guy. I don't want to make fun of the man. I'm not. I genuinely feel bad for anybody who's going through a sickness and stuff. It is what it is. And his family, you know, it does suck, but you know, it's just a fact. It is what it is. He's the voice on the segment. He's the reason this segment exists, Juice. And we're gonna keep it at that, I guess, before I keep digging a hole here. Okay.
Yeah, come on, man, cancer edition.
Oh, now you had to go there with it. No, just trying to move the heat in your direction a little bit, I guess. All right. So this story, my friends, it comes from a student at the University of Connecticut that will completely validate Linda McMahon's mission to close the Federal Department of Education. Juice, you want to give him this clip?
Did you ever think you'd be going to college here?
No, never. Never in a million years.
In some ways, Alicia Ortiz is living an American dream. The 19-year-old began her freshman year at the University of Connecticut in Hartford this fall. She's excited to study public policy, the culmination of hard work after moving north from Puerto Rico as a child. Do you remember when you first came to Connecticut?
Yes, I remember I was very nervous, but I know it was gonna be better opportunities for me to learn.
But Alicia says those opportunities never came to fruition. Even today, could you read this, or would it take you a long time?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
Alicia graduated from the Hartford Public School System last year, but she says today she is illiterate. She still doesn't know how to read or write. When she was in early education,
they would just either tell me to stay in a corner and sleep, or just draw pictures, flowers for them.
And when she was in high school, she relied on speech-to-text programs and other apps to read and write essays. So if you had an assignment where you had to write something, you'd open up a document like this and then do what?
I would go here to use the text-to-speech.
It says dictate.
Dictate, yep. I love pizza.
This is how you would do your assignments.
And then...
Cats of the World VAK sporting a twin-prop airplane.
If you had to read something, that's how you do it. She said her mother, who does not speak English.
Like, I'm genuinely appalled by that. Like I know this is a kind of a funny bit, tongue in cheek a little bit. We poke fun, but that's astonishing.
Yeah, I'm slightly impressed by her, right? To be able to get by without doing it, to use the technology to her advantage. Because first off, her family failed her by like not checking in once. Hey, do you have a homework? Do you, it seems like she's a first generation immigrant.
But they just brush it off as her mother doesn't speak any English.
Yeah, no, but you got to be like, hey, can you show me your work? Like, check anything.
Yeah.
Like, you should know that your kid can read or not.
Yes.
Even if it's like in a different language or not. And like, yeah, the school system failed her, but like kind of shout out to her to be like, I still need to progress on these things. They're leaving me behind. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What? Well, I'm saying then she figured it out through technology. I know she's screwed now and forever after. Well, until she can learn to read.
Yeah.
But
everybody
around her.
The best of a bad
circumstance. Yeah, everybody else around her failed her.
She
at least tried. Yeah.
Draw some flowers.
She at least tried to like do it. But that's also probably what they didn't catch on, because she was turning in assignments because she can talk.
Yeah.
I love pizza. Well, I do too, Alicia. Isn't that what she said? I love pizza.
Yes. It's just a complete like indictment on the whole education system in this country, and the no student left behind mindset.
Yeah, no child left behind. Yeah.
Like, no, you now you have a 19-year-old child on a first grade level, like, who can't read or write in college, a freshman in college.
How did she get into the college?
I don't know.
Because you have to do the test. You have to do the test without being able to do speech to thing. Like, even bubble in for an SAT or whatever. Like, don't they have to show that?
Well, they I think at one point I did watch like the obviously that's a news story. I think it's about 5 minutes long, and it talks about her being dyslexic and stuff. Like, she was never diagnosed as being dyslexic, so then you have more time to do things. So I guess I would assume that she was allowed to take the SAT maybe with extra time or something. You know what I mean? Like, there had to have been.
You got all the time in the world. If you can't read, dude, you can't.
That's true. That's true.
Unless they gave her a reading thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, there was some exception that she was.
Dude, that's an indictment on the school that she got into, though. How does the college allow her in?
I know.
Because ChatGPT or something wrote the essay.
It's crazy. It's probably obviously her race had something to do with it too. Like, there's no way just like white girl who can't read or write is going to get the same opportunity. Like, no way. You can't convince me of
I
that.
don't want anybody to get like.
No, I don't either. But I'm just saying, like the fact that she happens to be.
Now we have to do that. Let in all the people who are illiterate.
No, no illiterate left
There's
behind.
no room for people who can read.
It's out of
No,
control,
yeah, dude.
dude.
It's sad on every level.
It really is. But it's like, honestly, like, is there no better like piece of propaganda to show you why the federal Department of Education has completely failed and needs to shut down? Like, how much money are we pumping into that place to produce results like this? Like, and obviously I want this stuff going back to the states. Like, so the Connecticut public school system definitely deserves to bear the brunt of the anger here, but they're being funded and helped by our federal Department of Education as well. And I just, again, it's just, it's
you know
sad.
what it also takes though too is like us getting involved in those school boards and stuff too. Like,
true.
It's
That's
great that
absolutely
we're
true.
mentioning it here, and it's like should be a call to action. And
Yep.
like I don't know if you would have found that girl, right? But you know,
No.
it needs an overhaul, and I think it also needs watchful eyes. Like be in the school as much as you can at your kid's school on stuff that you're invited to, or you know, look at the stuff on the walls. Look at your kids.
If we have anybody that watches the show, that pays attention to our show here, that subscribes, that follows, that may or may not be in a group text with us, that happens to be involved in the school systems, the public school systems, like, please do better. Do something here. We need a change, and we need it fast.
It starts with you.
Absolutely. As they say in the poker world, a chip in a chair. If you're there at the table, you got to do something about this, please. So on that note, that's the plea from the right and wrong people today. Don't let Massachusetts fall into the problem that Connecticut just fell into. I'm sure we already are in that situation, but don't let us get blasted all over the place.
Dude, kind of like the audacity of Alicia to like go to college, to show up to college. That's ballsy. She's like, can't read or write. No, she was failed by the school system, etc. But still like shows up to college, and then she's like, they found out I can't read or write.
Yeah, you're over there tipping your cap to her.
Yeah. Yeah, she should have just like, it's sad, but
too.
She should have went to a trade or something. No, they need to read and write too.
Of course, but maybe she could spin the pizzas, whip up the pie. The world needs what's he saying? The Departed. The world needs a lot of bartenders too. Like when he puts them on.
We have an opening for shoe shining. I heard somebody doesn't.
Industry that's not going anywhere, from what I hear. All right, now we're just going off topic. I think we're into shoe shine bits and stuff. You're starting to freeze up over there. Oh, there you are again. All right. The Department of Education, University of Connecticut, Hartford location, the state of Connecticut's public education system. You have all earned yourselves one big, fat, classic.
Come on, man.
And that's the show tonight. We made it under an hour, Juice. Let's get out of here tight before we go overboard. And people, we plan to be back next week. Until then,
thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Come on, man. What are we talking about? Right and wrong. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Right and wrong. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Right and wrong.